Mud tax, what is it? Can I make it stop? How does it affect me buying a home? We're gonna answer these questions and more in just a minute. Hey y'all, it's me, Melanie Beran, Wyatt Properties, myhomeinhouston.com. I am here to talk to you today about mud tax. It's not as fun as it sounds. And if you're planning to buy or sell a home, make sure that you go ahead, like this video so more people like you can find it, and subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss a thing. Mud tax, municipal utility district. What is a municipal utility district? When a developer buys a huge area and they're going to build all these homes, that development is in one of two places. It's within city limits or it's outside city limits. A mud district is going to apply to those areas that a developer builds in that is outside city limits. Those communities are going to need city infrastructure, things like water, sewage, drainage. So to provide all of those things that obviously have a cost to install and maintain, there will be a mud tax, a municipal utility district tax. Those homes that are built in that community are going to have an added tax on top of their regular property taxes to pay for that infrastructure for that new community. Typically, a mud tax could be somewhere between 0.6, 0.9%. So on top of their regular property tax that may be around 2.7, you may have another 0.8 on top of that, and now your property tax rate is going to be 3.5%. So how does that affect you when you're buying? Well, your lender is going to look at a lot of different things when they're pre-approving you for a home. They're going to look at your debt to income ratio, they're going to look at your credit score and all of these things. And that debt to income ratio is going to help determine how much the lender will allow you to pay monthly for your home. So if you're looking at a home in a mud tax that has a higher tax rate than just a regular city home, that monthly payment is going to be higher. And so the lender may say, okay, you can buy a $275,000 home in a 2.5% tax district, but that mud home that has a 3.7% tax rate because of their mud tax, that's just not going to work. That's too far past your limit, and that's not going to work. So it's important to be aware of where you're looking for homes, whether or not there's a mud tax. That's going to involve whether or not it's inside the city limit and also when the home was built. Mud taxes can eventually lower and go away, but it's typically not going to be for 15, 20 years or more that tax rate has come down to the city level or below. But it does happen. One of my transactions last year, a client was buying in Siena, and because she bought in the older area of Siena, the home was 20 years old, it no longer had a mud tax. Whereas the newer homes in Siena that are still being built, we're going to have a mud tax. So her tax rate is about 2.7, whereas the newer homes in Siena, their tax rate might be 3.6 to 3.8. So that's why it's really important to understand, even when you're looking in the same community, which are the older areas, which are the newer areas. If you want to live in that area, but you need to watch that debt to income ratio and monthly payment, then you may look in the older area of that community where the mud tax is going to be lower. Are mud taxes worth it? It depends on where you want to live. If you want to live in a specific community and that community has a mud tax and you decide that it's worth it, more power to you, right? So it's all about choice. It's all about understanding what the mud tax is, why it's there, and whether or not it's the right fit for you. So what is a mud tax? It covers all the infrastructure that is being developed in a community that is outside city limits. How does it affect you buying a home? Well, if a community that you're looking in has a mud tax, it's going to make that monthly payment higher. And so you're going to want to be aware of that, obviously, just for the monthly payment reason. But also, your lender may give you a cap on what your monthly payment can be. And a community with a mud tax may just be a little bit too high for what the lender is willing to allow. If this information was helpful for you, make sure you give it a like, drop your comments. I almost said drop your comments in the questions. Drop your questions in the comments. I'll come back and help you. Make sure that you reach out to me if you are considering buying or selling in the Houston area. I'd love to help. I hope something really great happens to you today.